I'm Dan Murphy, and Mr. Chris White is joining me here, and Chris has been playing a lot of PES this week, and you want to talk to me about the goalkeepers, Chris, because you've been noticing some improvements on that area in the new PES.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got to play with a few of the big teams in the world. One of the main kind of teams I wanted to test out with the keepers was Neuer for Germany, and just to kind of see the kind of improvements to how they react and how their quickness is and how the AI basically is with goalkeeping. So I was playing with France quite a bit, and Griezmann obviously is quite a decent shooter. When I was kind of playing against the keeper one on one, there was a lot of kind of coming out to the ball. He wasn't kind of just waiting for me to shoot. There was a lot more kind of urgency in the way they come for you, taking long shots. He kind of you could see him kind of shouting to the front line of defence. There seems to be quite a smartness in the AI that side of it, so he's trying to make sure that he's not blocked at all. And when he does save it, the reactions is insane. How quick they can be sometimes. Obviously, it's a realistic game. He's not going to save them all, but there's a lot of kind of quick to it, especially with the low balls. He was all over it. And one of the other kind of things, which is when you're not actually shooting, it's the way he reacts to a save after a save or a corner. He'll yell at the team. He'll get excited. He'll get happy. He's just very reactive and very kind of individual, if not, and not just Neuer. Like all the kind of keepers that you got to play as, they're all individual. Like the way their style in keeping is. So it's kind of changed quite a bit to feeling less like a generic kind of keeper to more of a personal one.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we all know I've played a great deal of PES now. I think the keepers have definitely improved. I've just actually been going through my interview I did with Adam Batty at PES team, and he was saying that he thinks that these are the best keepers in any football game ever.
Oh yeah.
And, I'm not old enough to judge. I'm sure you may have a better.
No, definitely.
And I feel what I thought from him was, whilst they were very much better than the last one, so they weren't palming stuff in the way of, they weren't all the time palming stuff into the dangerous area. They were getting it out more. So while they are very much improved on last year's, and they are still good keepers, they aren't insanely good, and they're not saving everything like the last FIFA was when they were ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
They're very realistic, so they can make incredible good double saves. They are a bit faster off the feet now, but if something's hit right into the corner, they're not going to be able to be Mr. Armstrong or whatever, Stretch Armstrong and get it.
Yeah.
It's a lot more realistic and authentic, and I feel like they're a lot better in the air this time as well. They're a lot better at punching stuff out, a lot better at catching in corners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a very solid improvement on the area of the pitch that did need improving on the last game.
Yeah. They're thinking for themselves. It's very, very smart how they play. Like free kicks as well and penalties. They're all over it. They place themselves very well. It's clear that there's been improvements in that side of things, and they're not all just moving in the same way when they take a penalty. So one of the kind of first things I noticed was how they don't always spot everything.
Interesting.
The linesmen are. I mean, the offsides. I played at least up for about an hour and 45 minutes, start to finish. I hadn't had an offside, but to me, I'd felt at least on 2 or 3 occasions I was offside. Now that. I mean, the amount of football games you play and there's an offside at least once every half. Do you know what I mean? It felt like there were offsides being called, but it wasn't necessarily against me. It was as if I was trying to kind of deceive them. It was that's how it felt, and I've never really seen that before.
Okay. So do you think? What I'm trying to grasp it, because I didn't really notice this in my time with the game. Do you think the referees are getting decisions wrong? I
don't know if they're getting them wrong. I just don't know if they're spotting everything. I think. Also with penalties, I mean, there were a few penalties in my playthrough, and there were some clear kind of decisions. One of them, I think, Neymar was in the box, and he tripped over, but it was very kind of, it could have gone either way, but the referee missed it, and so that was quite cool. But then a lot of the times there was decisions given for a penalty which some referees wouldn't call, but there was like this one referee, and I don't know who he was, but he was calling me on everything, and he was very kind of, perceptive in the box. And one of the penalties, which I didn't feel was a penalty, he gave it, and you kind of have to appreciate that. There does certainly, I mean, we're going to talk about AI and the smarts behind the kind of the way it's been developed, but this is clearly something that's been improved since the last one. Is the way that referees are very smart on decisions, but also seem to be making errors.
See, it's interesting because you're talking as if it sounds like that they are human and they're their own, like we say, like with the players, they're their own person. They've got their own characteristics, their own abilities. Seems like the referees have their own characteristics as well, which is interesting because that could cause some. If that is true and that is how they're going for it, I don't know if it is. It seems like that could cause a bit of like conflict. Say if you get a referee that's shit, but then one who gives a bit more lenient than another referee, that seems that could be a cause of conflict.
To be fair, that's what I've always wanted. I mean, I don't want every decision to go, because it's the one issue I've had with certain football games in the past is that they're too on the ball. They're very kind of you can clearly a computer controlling them, and it's with referees.
Mm-hmm. They're just like robots, the Terminator, just going around getting every single decision.
and the referees are the same. They don't ever make mistakes. They call everything as it is. If it's offside, it's offside. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. If it's a foul, it's a foul. I just feel that that's something that seems to have been kind of improved and tweaked a little bit to kind of do exactly what they're doing with the players now and giving them their own kind of personalities. Yeah,
that is interesting because I discussed this when I was playing PES in Barcelona. I was discussing this with some journalists how people never really do that with referees, and it does feel like they are a bit weird. Because like when I played, I think I went near enough clean through. I was in this like the D on the edge of the box, and I got hacked down. And wasn't anything given. I was all saying that's definitely a foul. And then the player was protesting to the referee as well, as if they know it's a free kick. It should be a free kick, but this referee said it's not. So it seems like there is. So one referee might give it, another referee might not, depending on who the referee is.
Yeah, that's what I love. I just love that's now a part of it.
It's definitely an interesting and new take. And what I think on in general with the referees, how they've been improved on last year, is that they're a lot. I wouldn't say. No, I'd say they are more card happy. They can't. It's a tight balancing act. Of course, we're on the early build, so don't know how much more it'll get balanced. But I feel like they're not as lenient when it comes to leg breaking fouls on the halfway line as they were in last year. Because last game you could just break legs willy nilly and nothing would be done. Whereas the refs they seem to have clamped down on that a bit more now. They're a lot more. They just seem like proper officials now who are realistic and pull up on stuff which certainly shouldn't be seen on a football pitch.
Yeah, completely agree, mate.
So if you want to learn more about PES 2017 and all the new updates and changes and features that are coming, you can stay right here on youtube.com/GodisaGeek for a series of videos we're doing on all the fine details on PES 2017. And of course you can go over to GodisaGeek.com for interviews, previews and all that type of stuff on PES 2017, and of course every other video game on this goddamn planet. And if you'd like to support us for the effort we put into all this, you can go over to patreon.com/GodisaGeek. Throw us a couple of quid and it's always greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Should have backed the GodisaGeek Patreon.